I want to begin tonight by doing a reading that I posted on Facebook this morning from one of my meditation books called Until Today. It's about malnutrition. I'm sorry, it's about spiritual nutrition, spiritual malnutrition. I got that out finally. Some people are suffering from spiritual malnutrition. Their sense of self has been diminished, and to the point that it is a chore for them to do the simplest task in their lives. Spiritually malnutrition people are fearful and frightened, worried and worrisome. They are drained and draining. There, there, there is only one cure for spiritual malnutrition. It is a steady diet of spiritual food. Prayer builds the spiritual structure. Faith puts meat on your spiritual bones. Gratitude builds spiritual muscle. If you are feeling worn out, run down, and weary, check your spiritual diet. We need to increase your intake of spiritual nutrients. Until today, you have been suffering from spiritual malnutrition. Just for today, increase your intake of spiritual food. Engage in a few spiritual experiences. Today, I'm devoted to increasing my spiritual intake. I just found that kind of fascinating today because I really believe very deeply in the concept of really working deeply on developing a good sense of your spiritual self. Tonight, I want to talk about something that I always get a kick out of talking about. And it comes down to the concept of the roles that codependents play, whether you realize it or not. And many of us go through this in the course of our journey in life. So many of us don't realize it, but in growing up as children, many of us are delegated to certain roles. Those roles then become our normal. And as a result, then we have a tendency very many times to live out those roles. Unfortunately, many times we're living them, don't even know we're doing them because they have become so much of a normal for us that literally we just function in them. And again, we don't realize it because many of them go back to the roots and foundations when we were as children. There are 6 fundamental roles that codependents play. And there's 6 roles, but I'll put them in 3 categories. We have the chemical dependent type individual or the addict, and we have someone called the chief enabler. That's the one group. The second group, we have the family hero and the family scapegoat. In the third group, we have the passive mascot and the aggressive mascot. There are 6 different roles, but they coincide with each other. The chemically dependent person or the addict has certain behavior characteristics. And it's interesting how they're very similar to the behavioral characteristics of the chief enabler. It's like they play off of each other. The chemically dependent type individual or the addict needs someone in their life to enable them and to keep them centered in their addiction. The enabler very many times has a tendency to want to save the addict, to fix the addict, and very many times basically spend a lot of time blaming the addict. Meanwhile, the addict, on the other hand, is blaming the enabler. And so they're playing this game back and forth. It's like a war going on between the two of them. And the bottom line is real simple. Their behavior is very similar because literally it brings up a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and at least the chemically dependent type individual, if they get a lot of these feelings, they embalm themselves. The chief enabler, eats does all that stuff and holds it on the inside. And so literally, it's like a battle of minds. The recovery process is when finally the chief enabler learns something called detachment. They learn to break away from trying to fix the addict. And they begin to realize The only person I can work on is myself. And they have to learn to basically move away from their behavior towards the addict. The addict, on the other hand, if they don't have a chief enabler supporting them, very many times has to deal eventually with their addiction, or their addiction will deal with them. So there's this battle going on deep inside of everybody else. And again, hopefully with treatment, with AA and NA, with Naranon and Al-Anon, and different 12-step programs, people can get help and they can get treatment. The second group, we have the family hero and the family scapegoat. We call them the two bookends, the two extremes. The family hero is that one person in the family everybody depends on, that one person that always comes through, that one person that is always available, that one person that's up on a pedestal, that one person that knows how to take care of everybody. But the bottom line for a family hero is they're very empty, they're very lonely, and they're very scared on the inside. And yet on the outside, they are performers. I always joke, I say, family heroes live next to a telephone booth. This way, if they get called, they can react immediately, either change into their super person suit or come out with the red light on the top of their head to solve all the problems. A lot of expectations are put on family heroes. The bottom line is they also get a lot of attention. So very many times they fulfill their role because it gives them a lot of attention. Again, I can relate to a lot of this. My mother delegated me to be the family priest. When I was the family priest, I was the top of the pile. I did every wedding, every funeral, every baptism, everything for the family. I was the cat's meow for the family. The only problem was when I left the priesthood, I immediately went to the bottom row. I became the scapegoat. Then basically I got beat up. I was told the mistakes I made. And then basically I didn't find out if anybody died in my family until I checked the obituary columns. You go from one extreme to the other extreme. The scapegoat is the individual in the family that always gets in trouble, that's always causing problems, that always gets their attention because they've learned a technique. If I get in trouble, people pay attention to me. I'm somebody. The scary part about it is they interact very many times in the family because literally they do get a lot of attention. They cause a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion. But at the same time, it's almost like I can actually, are they saying this in their mind? No, they're not. These are kids that come out of homes where they've been told in growing up, you will never amount to anything. You're no good. You're rotten. These are the messages they've gotten. I wish you were never born. So as a result, what do? I play out the role I was given. So what do? I act out. When I act out, you come to my rescue. When I act out, I can manipulate you and con you. The family hero, on the other end, plays right into the scapegoat. Because what do we do as family heroes? It's our job to save the scapegoat, to rescue them, to save them. So we make them into a project. We begin to work on them. But the bottom line in both these two extremes, the bottom line is you never have to look at yourself. Your behavior means I can avoid having to deal with me. I can avoid having to make changes. I can avoid moving in new directions. And they're roles that are so easy to play because you can slide into them so easily. Again, it comes from the family systems. The next set, we have the passive mascot. These are the individuals who will take no responsibility for anything. They literally want everybody else to tell them what to do, tell me who I am, tell me where I'm supposed to go. Those of you who are closer to my generation, remember a movie called Marty. And Marty would go like this. What do you want to do tonight, Marty? Whatever you want to do. Where do you want to go? Wherever you want to go. What do you want to eat? Whatever you want to eat. See, the bottom line is real simple. It's like a game. I'll let you make all the decisions. Then if they don't work, I have you to blame because you told me to do it. See the concept? There's a real sense of irresponsibility there. But again, I'm like a sad little kid. I never want to grow up. I want somebody else to always tell me what to do, make decisions for me, and basically tell me where to go. On the other end, you have what we call the aggressive mascot. They can drive you crazy. They're the individuals at parties who dance on top of the table with a lampshade on top of their heads. They need constant attention. Pay attention to me, pay attention to me. They're the ones who walk around and say the same thing over and over again. Do you love me? Do you love me? You sure you love me? You positive you love me? You sure now? You really positive you love me? After a while, what you want to do is smack them around a little bit and throw them out the door. I love them at 12-step meetings. They volunteer for all the jobs. I'll make the coffee. I'll put the chairs up. I'll take this. I'll do this. I'll go here. I'll go there. I don't no problem at all. No problem at all. I'll lead the meeting. I'll do this. About giving somebody else, well, that's all right. I'll get it done. Don't worry. See, basically, the aggressive mascot wants you to know that they are always in your face. They're always there. They're always available. They'll always do everything. And after you've been around them for a while, you want to run away. You want to hide. It's totally amazing. But their roles and behaviors. And usually the aggressive mascot of kids and growing up never got any attention. Everybody else was given attention and not them. They used to walk around almost like begging for some love, for some attention. Pay attention to me. And they always felt rejection. They always felt abandonment. So as they grow up, they want to make sure everybody's always there, always available. Things are always together for them. And many of these roles, when we look at them, they all come down to the fact that so many times people do not want to look within themselves and develop a sense of their own personal growth. I know in my own life, I played many of these roles. I know I played the role of the family hero when I was in the priesthood. I also played the role of the scapegoat. I let people take advantage of me. I let people use me. Because literally I played both roles on both sides. I definitely was the chief enabler. And not even realizing it, I was also the addict. So it's amazing how, people ask me all the time, can you fit all the roles? I say, yeah, at one time or another, you might. Even sometimes in life, don't you wish sometimes everybody else would make decisions for you and leave me alone? Tell me what to do. Tell me when to do it and where to be. Okay, and the other side of it is, sometimes I just want you to love me, pay attention to me, give me something. But the antidote to all this is to be able to look in the mirror and be able to use that second part of the serenity prayer. Courage to change the things I can. The most courageous people on the face of the earth are individuals who are willing to look at themselves and go through a process of change and a process of growth. Even the 12 steps try to teach us that. For the first 11 steps for us to work on ourselves, to go on the concept of self-love, self-discovery, a good, healthy sense of ourself. Then the 12th step, to share it. We've been taught over and over again the value of looking within ourselves. But it comes at a price very many times. Because so many times in life, these roles have been engraved inside of us. Some of the other roles I want to share with you, and by the way, just to let you know, if you want a copy of all these roles I'm talking about, plus more, you can go to the Starting Point website, startingpoint.org, go down to Vince's Corner, go down to where it says alternate resources, and you'll see codependency roles. You can download them. Some of the other roles that we play a lot of times, I'll give you some examples. One is the clown. A lot of codependent people play the role of the clown. Now, what's the role of the clown? Did you ever hear something about clowns? They play to the audience. They can change their personality based on what the people want to see. I'll take that to codependency. I change my personality based on who I'm with. When I'm with my family, I have my family face on. When I'm with my friends, I have my friends face on. I can change my personality based on who I'm with, because I don't really know who I am, but I want to fit in. I want you to accept me. So what do? I literally adjust myself to the environment around me. The other one that's kind of interesting is the hitman for the mob or the hit lady for the mob. These are individuals that have so much anger and so much rage and so much feelings buried deep inside that they put a shield around them. And the bottom line is, don't get too close to anyone. If they get too close, push them away. Like anything else, I don't want you to really know who I really am. So I got to protect myself, put a shield around me, protect me. If you get too close, I'm going to use anger and frustration to push you away and drive you away. And very many times, it's almost like I'm literally going to basically tell you the same thing all the time. If you ask me how I am, I'm going to say, I'm fine, leave me alone. The word fine is a very dangerous word. The word fine, define means, I can't say the first word, but I'll change it. Frustrated, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Congratulations, you're fine. And many of us play that role. You see, don't bother me, I'm fine. Everything's great, everything's wonderful, everything's perfect. I always love working with people and you ask them about their family history. I have a perfect family I grew up in. I have no problems. No problems at all. You know, I had the perfect mother, the perfect father, perfect everything. Leave me alone. Again, it's avoidance. Another role I always talk about is the boxer. A boxer, you notice something about boxers, they never know when to quit. They keep going back for more. Many codependents get caught up in this. It's like this time it's going to be different. This time it'll be better. You see this in people that are battered, people that are in abusive situations. I'm going to fix them. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix that. I go back. I get beat again, so I go back for some more. I keep going back for some more. Remember a lady one time said to me, because she had come to talk to me about her husband who beats her a lot, and they had all kind of a crazy situation she lives in. But she said to me, I don't want to leave him. She said, because I figured it out, Vince. Yeah, I get beat up once in a while. That comes with the territory. And how I figured it out is this. He's got a lot of money. He has a house down the shore. We have a house here. We're extremely well off. So I just try to avoid him as much as I possibly can. When he's up here, I go down the shore. When he's down the shore, I come up here. I play this Mickey Mouse game over and over and over again. And she calls this life. This avoidance, this living, it's crazy, it's insane. And yet, so many people, how many times I've heard it, he promised me he'd be different this time, or she promised me she'd be different this time. So I go back and I take some more, and I take some more. Just like the boxer who never knows when to give up. Another great role, it's kind of interesting, is the concept of the toy. So when there's something about a toy, it gets played with, it gets manipulated, and then when you don't need it anymore, what does it do? It gets discarded. Remember Buzz Lightyear when it came out, and Woody? Woody was the favorite toy. He was the cowboy, the joy. Great, fantastic. Then Buzz came along, and all of a sudden, Woody was put into the toy box and forgotten about. There's the rejection, there's the abandonment. We see it today. As we get older, new stuff comes into play, new concepts, new directions. And many of us feel left out because we keep trying to not go with the flow and move forward. So what do? I want to do it the way it always was done, my way. So I get left behind. Then I feel rejection, I feel abandonment. And so many times in life, we have to be able to realize some things we have to learn to say goodbye to. It's not, it's hard. I was in ShopRite shopping center a couple of days ago. This man came up to me and said, "Hey Vince, how you doing?" He said, "Are you still a referee in basketball?" I said, "Nah." I said, "Those days are gone." He said, "Oh, geez, you're such a good referee." Went on and on and on, this kind of stuff. And inside of me, there was a part of me that felt like, oh my God, I should be doing this. But I know I can't do it. Those days are gone. Change has taken place in my life. My body is not the same as they used to be. These legs could not run up and down with those Giselles today. Just wouldn't work. And the bottom line is, though, your mind says maybe, your body says no way, Jose. And so things change as you get older. You got to learn to go with the flow. Do you like it all the time? Of course not. But it's the same thing when it comes to technology. Now we have AI. I'm still trying to get my hands wrapped around that one. I'm working on it. Maybe one of these days I will. We'll see what happens. It took me a while to get Google and to get Zoom, get all. Now I'm going to try to work on some of this other stuff. But things happen too fast. The world moves fast. And the bottom line is it's almost like you feel you got passed by. You feel like your life has changed. I see it in Starting Point. Can we go back to where it was before? Of course not. Somebody said, don't you wish you just had the little houses in South Philadelphia? You were back there again. I said, what are you, out of your mind? I wouldn't know how to handle half of the people today back there. I had different energy. My life was different back then. No, I don't want to go back. I want to be able to move forward. We have to learn how important it is. All these different roles I'm talking about, they're part of life. So we get caught up in this. We get caught up in the concept, playing these roles, connecting with them. One of the roles I always look at and I talk about is the comic book heroes. We talked a little bit about that earlier. We go anywhere from, the concept of Superman or all the Marvel comics and all those kinds of things of today, to go back to the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and the old Westerns of before. And of course, we go back to John Wayne. We took on the entire Japanese army by himself. I used to love those movies, the Fighting CBs. Remember that, Charlie? He drove a bulldozer with a 6-shooter. Every time he pulled the trigger on the six shooter, the whole front line, the Japanese army fell down. And every time they shot, it bounced off the bulldozer blade. All those, every bullet went to the bulldozer blade, and he crashed right through the whole army. Amazing, wasn't it? The old time cowboy shows, where basically they punch a guy and they go through over three tables out the window and in the water trough with one punch. Today what happens? They shoot a guy, you see the blood coming out of his head, see the hole. Oh my God. It's so graphic, it's unbelievable. But the world changes, things go on differently. They look at things differently. It's amazing when you come right down to it. But I realize this more and more, and I want to emphasize this. Roles are part of the journey. They're part of life. Yes, on occasion, we're going to slide into them and slide out of them. It's part of what codependency is. Because we're human beings. Because we're human, on occasion, get into certain roles. But the antidote, again, is back to what I said before. To have the courage. And I use this word so many times because, to me, the most courageous people on the face of the earth are the people that have the strength and they have the guts to be able to work on themselves and look at themselves. See, getting on a motorcycle and driving it over a ravine is not courageous. That's insane. Real courage is to be able to stand still, invest in yourself, invest in your life. Is it easy? No. Many times I drove my therapist crazy because my therapist, I would go visit him and I wanted everybody to change. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was scared to make a decision. And every time he would say the same thing to me. Thank God the man had patience. He would say to me, it's your issue, then it's not theirs. It's your issue, not theirs. And I used to look at him and say, no, it's theirs. They're doing this to me. Well, no, they're not. We can make decisions. We can make changes. We can look at things in a positive way. That's our responsibility, our sense of growth. So we have to learn to break the bonds of codependency, to move out of dreams, and just learn how to live and celebrate life, to do the best we can. The last time I checked, I think that all of us are human beings. Because of our humanity, we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes we got to learn the hard way. Sometimes we have to put our foot in our mouth. All these things are part of the journey. The secret is to be honest about it. So I've learned the antidote is simply to be as honest as I can be with myself each day. Will I ever be totally honest? Probably not. Do the best you can do each day. Be honest as you can be for today. Have a sense of humility. Be open to change and be open to growth. Be open to new things and new directions. You may not totally understand them all, but at least be open to them. And don't be afraid to ask for help, to ask for guidance, to ask for direction. It's okay. You don't have to know everything. It's okay to open up your hearts and minds. Have a sense of caring and respecting yourself and respecting others and respecting those who are going through their struggles. Try to help out when you can and do service, but at the same time, don't enable. Try not to anyway. Although, sometimes we will. You see, how many times I have parents, mothers, fathers come in to see me, and they say, can you fix my son? I says, no. I says, well, my son is 43 years old. He's still living at home. I says, well, how about if you go to Al-Anon or Naranon? How about if you get some help for yourself? But I don't need any help. He does. I said, let's start with you. No, I can't fix your son. I always get the classic one. They still do it. It's just amazing. Can you call my son and talk to him and maybe you can he'll listen to you? But don't tell him I told you to call. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm glad to. Hi, my name is Vince. I'm doing a survey. Do you happen to have an alcohol or drug problem? Just thought I'd call and check. You know, come on. And yet I understand it. I really do. It's her fear. It's the anxiety, the stuff. You know, I want to be able to fix him. I want to save him. Sometimes you have to let go because the only person that has that power is the individual themselves. And that's the scary part about it. And maybe sometimes they just have to hit that bottom. I know sometimes they will die. It happens. It's all part of the journey. I can't explain any of that. All I know is we have to learn that we can work on ourselves and take care of ourselves as people. So the next 3 to 4 weeks, I want to concentrate on the recovery process from codependency. There are ways to break these concepts. So next week, I'll do the 6 stages of recovery, and I'll cover a couple of them next week, and then we'll start going through them. So I want to be open to that. So I really feel that many of the roles that we play, even the martyr role, you know, for me, why are you doing this to me? Many times you hear that, we get caught up in this. And so can we fit all these roles? Yeah, one time or another, I probably do. I couldn't write them down if I didn't really understand them all. There's many more. I'm not going through them. Actually, I have 18 of them here. If you want to check them out, you can go to the website and you get a copy of them. You can see where they all fit in. They also have the explanation of each one next to them. So you can check it out and see how it happens. Okay. But I just feel that roles are part of the journey. The important thing is, do you want to play a role? You just want to be who you are. The biggest role of all to play is just be the person that you are to the best of your ability. And that's all you can do. So my prayer tonight is we can open our hearts and minds and be able to look within to give ourselves the gift of change and the gift of growth. So let us pray. God, we come before you, the God of our understanding, our divine presence. We ask for your guidance. We ask for your direction. Help us as we navigate the journey of life. Help us to be able to work through the many areas that we've been given. Teach us to understand that deep down within each and every one of us, there is this energy, this spirit of healing, this spirit of loving, this energy you've given to us at birth. Teach us to get in touch with it. Teach us to be open to it. Teach us to learn from it. Teach us to realize the value and the strength of each and every person that we meet. Teach us within just to be able to be open, to be honest with ourselves, to be able to listen to others, to learn from our experiences, to be open to new things and new directions. We can't do this by ourselves. We need help. We need guidance. We need direction. So help us as we go on this journey of learning and this journey of growth. Teach us to realize that you are leading us if we are open to ask for your help, your guidance, and your direction. And so we look within ourselves and we ask our higher power to be our guide, to be our strength in all that we do. We pray this and we ask this every day as we live the journey of life. We ask for it in your name. Amen.